Hi, Guy Ardito here, and today I'm going to talk about what happens when introverts and extroverts are married to each other. People think it's crazy. How could they ever be attracted? But there's a certain truth to the notion that opposites attract. Certainly, myself, I tend to be more extroverted, as you might gather from some of my videos. But my wife tends to be very introverted, and we balance each other out very nicely, but we can also really stress each other out, right? Because our communication styles tend to be different, and how we want to spend our time a lot of the times tends to be different, especially when other things are draining us. For example, my wife, who's an introvert, works as a high school teacher. So when she is having busy days of teaching a lot of classes, she's really drained from all that talking, doesn't really want to spend too much time talking with me in the evening. While if I'm spending my day doing more research, then I'm particularly drained of that quiet time and I need to be conversational and active. And it happens more than every once in a while when my wife and I both have days like that and we're butting heads, right? Because she wants quiet, she wants to be left alone, and I want to get close, I want to talk to her, I want to interact. So what do you do? Well, there are a couple things that you have to keep in mind if this describes you, whether you are the introvert or the extrovert in the relationship. The first thing is to appreciate the fact that you each have different strengths that you can bring to the relationship and balance it out. For example, I can be much more expansive and dynamic, but also kind of all over the place sometimes, and too much energy getting scattered, while my wife can be very good at keeping things tighter and more focused. Now, sometimes it drives me crazy, right? Just like sometimes my expansiveness drives her crazy. But I help her kind of get out of her shell and experience new things. She helps me from spreading myself too thin. As long as we stay focused on recognizing that about each other and appreciating that about each other, then we can do okay. And the second bit is to actually acknowledge each other's styles and be cognizant of what each other needs and make sure that we give each other space or connection, as we need it. So for example, I need to be cognizant of my wife, and when she's having, rougher days, of giving her more space to kind of decompress. She also needs to be mindful of me when I'm having harder days. She loves me, she needs to step up, right, and give me more interaction, more conversation, more care, so that I can kind of get recharged that way. So what does it boil down to? It kind of boils down to respect, right, appreciation, meeting needs, which is really about loving another person. It's about focusing on the other person and the relationship as a whole. Kind of putting ourselves last. Not that we're doormats to get walked over, but rather when we're in a relationship, when we love someone maturely, then we want to take care of them. We want to make them happy more than we want to make ourselves happy, and we want to take care of the relationship that we have together. It's kind of third thing that we create together. And only third do we think about what do we really want, right? And that's really what love is. Love is about giving. Now, as long as you have two people who are on that same page, then you can overcome any obstacle. We run into problems because all too often, and especially in our society, and especially as we have the rise in like cell phones and personalization and everything, people are less accustomed to compromise, or less accustomed to coming together. They tend to want things the way they want them, when they want them, and that is incompatible with love. If you're expecting somebody to give you what you want, when you want it or need it, in the way you want it or need it, and just like magically all the time, that's not going to happen. And if that's your expectation, you're not going to be able to maintain a love over a long period of time. Certainly not a real love in the real world, where we have real problems that pop up, that cause us real stress. So anyway, don't want to try to end on a negative note there. The point that I want to make is that having a relationship between an introvert and an extrovert can be incredibly exciting and dynamic. You can both take each other to new places and balance each other out really amazingly in the relationship, so that you, instead of butting heads, are actually respecting each other, appreciating each other, and balancing out each other's strengths in the relationship, so that you can actually really form a union that's greater than the individual parts, that being you and your partner. So, went really a little long than usual with this explanation, maybe because it's something I'm in the middle of myself, but I hope you found that useful. Again, if you're interested in coaching or any home study materials, just go to guyardito.com. Hope you enjoyed a little chat today. So this is Guy Ardito saying, love your business, love your life.